everyone, and welcome to the very first video on my channel. Fitting that I'm taking my first steps into the YouTube space while reviewing Fantastic Four First Steps. My name is Deontay, and I've been a cinephile for my entire life. I'm a huge fan of Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, and pretty much everything film. My goal with this channel is to connect with like-minded people where we can all share our thoughts and experiences. I hope we can build a really great community here free of judgment and hate. Some influences of mine include Jeremy Jahns, 3C Films, Chris Stuckman, Eric Voss, and so many others. It's been my passion to watch and contribute to the film space, and my journey is just now beginning. I have a history in the film genre with a degree in film studies as well as working on various film sets as a production assistant. I hope my insights into the film world can guide you into seeing movies through a different lens. Now that the introductions are out of the way, let's talk about the Fantastic Four. Now, while I overall thoroughly did enjoy this movie, it isn't perfect. Let's talk about some pros and cons. So starting with the pros, I think this film incorporates great teamwork. This group really feels like a family. Everyone gets their chance to shine. There are some standouts, of course, but as a whole, everyone gets their moment. Okay, so getting more in depth, let's talk about the characters as a whole. So starting with Johnny, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm manages to encapsulate the hothead of the group while simultaneously showing that there is more to his brain than what he may display on the outside. Throughout the movie, there's a few scenes where Johnny's trying to say something and everyone's talking over him because they feel like they have more pressing matters, but once they actually do listen to Johnny, they realize that, what he has to do is important as well. Visually speaking, his VFX as a whole were done pretty well. You can really get a good sense of just how bright and how hot he shines whenever he's in a scene with his other co-stars, especially with Shia LaBeouf. Speaking of which, Julia Garner is an absolute force in this movie. I'd go as far as to say that she was my favorite of the entire cast to watch. The tragically duty-bound surfer somehow manages to display grace while also kicking ass and giving the Fantastic Four a good run for their money multiple times. Just from her eyes alone, you can tell that she hates what she has to do, but must persevere in order to save the ones that she loves. I cannot wait to see where Julia goes and what she's able to do in the upcoming Weapons movie. Stay tuned for that review in a few weeks' time when it drops. Visually speaking, I think Shia LaBeouf, alongside with The Thing, have the best VFX in the entire movie. The way that light bounces off of her metallic skin, to the way her voice echoes, it's all just, mwah, chef's kiss, very crisp. Her presence on screen always kept my interest, and I really like that about her character. Marvel really hit the nail on the head with her character design, and I hope we can see her soon, maybe in Doomsday, who knows. Now let's talk about The Thing. Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Ben Grimm was a casting choice that I was initially a little skeptical with. I'd only ever seen him in The Bear, and while he was doing a great job playing the loyal and caring cousin, I wasn't sure if I could be sold on his rendition of Ben. But boy was I glad to be proven wrong by this movie. Ben is the true heart of this film. His humor and tenacity in staying beside his family in his neighborhood of Yancey Street was a breath of fresh air. Ben is not a man who wants you to feel sorry for him. He wears his rock skin with pride, and that was amazing to see. Where his character design really excels is in the sound. Sound-wise, I love that every movement by him has extra bass behind it. You really get a sense of just how strong he is from the sound alone. His banter with Johnny serves as the main comical relief, and while there are no gut-wrenching, die-hard laughing jokes in the movie, I did enjoy watching Ben and Johnny play off of each other. Ebon Moss-Bachrach was an amazing addition to this film. Very great casting. I can't wait to see what he does in Doomsday, and so on. Ebon Moss-Bachrach was an amazing addition to this film. He is Ben Grimm. His casting was excellent. Now let's talk about Sue. What's there not to love about Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm? While she's essentially the mother of the group, she's so much more than that. She's the voice of reason that Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic needs before he goes down some mental dark paths. She's the face of the group and will stop at nothing to make sure that the ones she loves the most are protected. She has a few scene-stealing moments that really highlight her devotion to her family. All around, a very solid emotional performance from Vanessa. I really like the way Matt Shakman filmed a lot of her scenes as close-ups, so you can really see the emotion on her face, especially as she struggles with what the world wants her to sacrifice. Running theme you can see here, I'm sure, is that I really like how this movie was casted. Everyone fulfills their role just how they're meant to. Everyone brings their A game. No performances from any of the cast members let me down. And now that leaves me to the head of the group, Mr. Fantastic. Pedro Pascal gets a lot to do in this movie. And what I really love about his character is that while he's the brains of the group and the whole world is looking to him for answers, he's not the focal point. The other three members are just as vital to the team as he is. If you've been anywhere online in the last few weeks leading up to the release of this movie, you'd have probably heard the term of Pascal fatigue floating around. While I personally think Pedro is a phenomenal actor, I can sort of see where the general consensus is coming from. Yes, he's in a lot of stuff coming out right now, but in regards to this movie, he isn't the sole headlining star. I think, of the live-action Mr. Fantastics that we've seen thus far, he's one of, if not the best. Barring John Krasinski, who gets a lot of unnecessary hate in my opinion, because he was great. Again, while I think Pedro is a great actor, I really like that his performance doesn't overshadow anyone else's. Pedro does an amazing job at showing the humanity behind Mr. Fantastic. While yes, he's the smartest man on earth, he doesn't have all the answers. He's flawed. With the pressure of becoming a new father, while also trying to save the world, it becomes a lot to take on. There's a great scene in the film where Mr. Fantastic stops being the overly smart person he is and realizes that there are some things that just don't need answers. That shift in mindset showcases that he's still got a lot of learning to do. I feel like the inclusion of that scene was a great way of showcasing how he's not perfect. I'm eager to see how he's able to lead a new team of heroes in future films. And last but not least, that leaves us with Ralph Ineson as Galactus. Now, I'm sort of a mixed bag on him because while we don't get a lot of screen time with him in the film, whenever he is on screen, his immense size and presence demands the audience's eye. I do wish that he had a bit more to do other than just sit in his ship or come to Earth. Essentially, that's all his character is really boiled down to. Yes, his motivations are what drives the whole plot of the film, but there is more to be desired. Now, I'm not sure if it was only me, but I sometimes had a hard time understanding what he was saying. I got the general gist for the most part, but there were a few words every now and then that just totally went over my head. I liked the look and feel of Galactus. He really did seem menacing and threatening, but again, there is still more left to be desired. I think the film definitely would have benefited from some kind of origin of Galactus, just showcasing how he became who he is. Okay, now let's shift to talking about some things that I didn't really like as much or that just could have been improved upon. Okay, so starting off with what's missing. I'm sure a lot of you were surprised by the runtime of this film. With it being just under 2 hours, while that isn't necessarily a bad thing, I think the movie could have been improved if we spent a little more time with the team and seeing them use their abilities in tandem to stop their various foes. We do get a brief montage of their battles, but it's never a singular confrontation. The movie essentially jumps right into the plot without leaving a lot of room for immersion. While I think it does a good job handling the pacing of getting to the plot, it also takes away from the world building that is essential in selling these characters and the world they're in. As a fan of Marvel and as a fan of the MCU and film as a whole, I want to see everything that's promised in the trailers. I feel cheated when stuff that I've been anticipating to see gets cut short or removed entirely. While I think the film as a whole works and is a solid entry into the MCU, I can't help but feel left out on what I know would have been a great experience. Now don't get me wrong, I know this film isn't the first to remove scenes in the slightest, and I know Marvel does this all of the time, most recently with Captain America Brave New World. But I think a movie of this magnitude, the entry of the Fantastic Four into the MCU, shouldn't cut corners and shorten the movie-going experience. Those are just some of my thoughts on that topic, and I'm curious to know if anyone feels the same. Comment below and let me know how you feel about Marvel promising something in their trailers and then cutting that content from the movie. Now let's talk about the last few bits of criticism I have about this film. Now I'm actually a mixed bag with this film because on one hand, the entire cast looks great, especially when they're using their abilities. Ben Grimm, Silver Surfer, and Galactus are all standouts in regards to their CGI. Their adventure in space and with the black hole were also mesmerizing. But when it comes to Sue and Reed's baby, that's where the immersion breaks a little. Now, I'm not a VFX artist, so I can't speak to exactly what goes into making the VFX for a baby, but I can't recall any film I've ever seen that does it really well. The baby looks a little goofy and out of place at times. I'm not saying they go full Twilight in this movie, but there's definitely a big Uncanny Valley thing going on with Franklin, especially right when he's born. His VFX gets cleaned up as he progresses through the movie, but overall it could have been better. Coming to an end, I think this was a great Fantastic Four movie and an overall highlight for Marvel. Piggybacking off of the great storytelling in Thunderbolts and the ending of Phase 5, As the first entry in Phase 6, I think it does a really great job for setting the stage for the Fantastic Four, and I can't wait to see how their characters progress in Doomsday. While there is just a little bit left to be desired, I think most people will come out of this with a positive outlook on Marvel going forward. This is definitely a first few steps in the right direction, and I encourage anyone even remotely curious to see it on the big screen. IMAX is possible because oh man did this film look good in IMAX. Now with that being said, that brings us to the end of our video. Thank you so much for coming to my channel and hearing my thoughts on Fantastic Four First Step. I'm new to the whole movie reviewing scene, but I've been a connoisseur of this kind of content for years now. I'm definitely going to be working on my craft to make sure my future videos come out to be something worth watching. Check out my next video when it drops soon. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the movie. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.